for the ideal moment to release it. And then she said something that stopped people. Scroll in the middle of the dash. Yandy wouldn't be the one on trial right now. That caused shockwaves. If you all knew the sort of secrets Kirk kept beneath his name, fans started looking into Kirk's past scandals, including the infidelity, the turmoil with Jasmine, and even unfulfilled rumors. Suddenly, the story began to tilt. Maybe Kirk wasn't presenting the truth. Maybe he was merely deflecting focus. Still, Mendeecees didn't budge. Even when asked privately about Yandy's sister's charge, he said nothing. He was nobody knew. And it was close to him meeting with attorneys. But for custody conversation, found out else did, tweeted a screenshot of Mendeecees entering a family law office. She gave him a call right away. She texted voicemail. No answer. And that's when it all became clear. This was no longer merely it was a war, and it was ripping them apart one headline at a time. The icy stillness in Yandy's home has turned into an intolerable one. She strolled through each room. Every area that had previously been full of children running about and laughing now felt like an echo chamber of grief and uncertainty. When she wanted Mendeecees to call, her phone would either fall silent or explode with alerts from blogs and gossip sites. No longer did anything make sense, nor her image, nor her recollections. Not the man who once declared that he would never question her love. She sat on the side of the bed they used to share, scrolling through their old images, joyful vacations, anniversary meals, quiet times with the kids. She muttered to herself, this was not as strong as us. But even she wasn't sure if it was still true. Once damaged, trust doesn't break like glass. It degrades slowly. Outside her circle, one unsolved truth at a time. The earth continued whirling and the drama would not go away. Kirk, who had triggered it all, was now relishing in the limelight. He made a series of ambiguous remarks while going live with a well-known gossip blogger. When asked directly whether he had more video, he laughed and responded, I ain't even pressed play on the good stuff yet. Fans filled the comments, some screaming for him to release more, others demanding he quit playing God with people's lives. Rita was quiet during all of it. Too quiet. A few people reported she was fed up with Kirk's hunger for attention. She'd apparently moved into her mother's house for space, stating she wanted time to reflect. People questioned whether Kirk's actions were the result of her quiet and his disarray were finally starting to cost him more than clout. However, the most significant change occurred when Mendeecees eventually broke his silence with an emotional Instagram post. He showed his children a black and white picture of himself, no fancy captions, just 4 words. My tranquility comes first. It was like a final word in a chat he never actually had with Yandy. The comments erupted. He was commended by others for putting his mental health first. Others questioned how peace could come at the cost of a family. But the message was plain. He was moving away. In a matter of seconds, Yandy spotted the post. She read the lines over and over again, her hands shaking. Not a single reference to her. Not a single syllable of reconciliation. After a few minutes, she went live without editing. No glitz, just tears. She talked directly, the voice cracked as she addressed the listeners. I've made errors. I've put my confidence in the wrong people. Additionally, I haven't said anything since I was attempting to shield someone who obviously didn't deserve it. Kirk's actions weren't only sloppy, it was malevolent. And I don't care whether people believe me anymore. I simply want my family back. The live went viral within 1 hour. Influencers started examining every moment. Was she finally confessing something? Was she deflecting? Fans were split. Half blamed her for pushing Mendeecees away. Kirk was accused by the other side of weaponizing a moment that was never intended for public viewing. In any case, Yandy started to get compassion again. Then the unexpected turn of events occurred. A fresh video appeared. Not released by Kirk, but anonymously published to a gossip page. It was security footage from that same health retreat. No sound blurry, but clear enough to establish that Yandy had been in the presence of many team members during her stay. The dude from Kirk's footage was not the only one. He wasn't a stranger. He was a member of the retreat staff who led group sessions and was spotted with other visitors. Nothing intimate or secret. The story broke abruptly. Bloggers started walking back their takes. Fans started speculating as to whether Kirk had altered the original video to make it appear worse than it actually was. Timelines were The situation changed. What appeared to be treachery was now perceived as manipulation. And at the middle of it all stood Kirk quiet. Abruptly, she became quite silent and added a quotation to her narrative. Truth doesn't require an audience. It simply waits. People thought it had to do with Yandy. Some assumed it was about her own marriage, but either way, it hit hard. The description for the security video that Yandy Wise posted on her page said, "Context matters." She didn't gloat. She didn't attack. She simply let it sit there. Fans filled the comments with apologies. Mendeecees didn't comment. He didn't like it. He didn't share it, but many saw he followed her again. The harm nevertheless had been done. Their connection wasn't what it once was. Too many wounds. There were far too many times when love was drowned out by silence. But for the first time in weeks, there was a halt. A chance to breathe, not closure. Kirk, now under criticism himself, started to backtrack during interviews. He stated he never alleged Yandy cheated, merely that the tape raised suspicions. He said that he was only sharing what he believed to be significant and had no intention of harming anyone. However, nobody was buying it anymore. Even his own followers began calling him out for seeking clout at the cost of a family. Mendeecees was largely silent. No more posts, no statements. However, one evening he and Yandy were spotted entering a restaurant by paparazzi. They weren't holding hands. They were conversing, but they were not grinning. And it was plenty for their supporters. The turmoil had peaked. And now, gradually, things were beginning to calm down. The reality was chaotic, hazy, and partial. No one walked away tidy, but maybe, just maybe, some came away wiser. Yandy and Mendeecees' love had been severely put to the test in public, and as the world waited to see whether they'd break apart or battle through it, they had already chosen. Just them away from the commotion, reconstructing whatever they could salvage. No more performances, no more declarations. The cameras were still rolling. The audience continued to watch. However, the true tale was now theirs. And Kirk, for all his antics, was eventually left on the outside. Watching a fire he sparked began to burn him back. And there you possess it. A flurry of charges, tests of devotion, and damaged reputations. What started as a single clip grew into one of the most tumultuous episodes in the love and hip-hop universe. Kirk Frost sparked the spark, but the flames burnt through friendships, family relationships, and public confidence. Whether you think Kirk was being a puppet master or revealing the truth, one thing is evident. Nobody came out of this unhurt. Yandy Wise struggled for her truth. Mendeecees remained silent. And the supporters, they selected sides, dug deep, and watched every moment like it was their own family on the line. Some still think the narrative isn't over. Others feel it should have never gone this far. However, the harm was ultimately done. Then what occurs next is anyone's guess. So now it's your time. What do you believe really happened? Was Kirk telling the truth, or did he twist the narrative for attention? Was Yandy, or was she merely another victim in an untidy game of ego and retaliation? Do you think Mendeecees will ever be able to trust her completely again?